quickly, and if you have questions, that's free to ask. Okay, so first slide here, I just kind of asked the question, have you ever walked into an event, you didn't know what to ask or what to say or anything like that?
No, it's never happened.
Never happened. You always had,
It happens for me all the time.
well, William's with it. He's got his questions all figured out. The reason I put that on there is because sometimes it can be overwhelming to go into an event, and there are people there that you obviously don't know, and you want to know some things from them, but narrowing down what you're actually going to ask can be difficult. So, you need to think of yourself as an interviewer. So it's like you're interviewing colleges to see how they fit for you. So it's kind of the reverse of you going to a job interview. It's like you're interviewing them. So it's important to keep in mind that they want transfer students who have done well. So if you have done well at ASUTR, then they know that you are probably going to transfer to them and do well over there. So you're actually bringing a lot to the table, such as completed college credits, life experiences, and then some clear goals. Students that transfer often know what they're going to be doing at the next step. And so, whereas students that come straight from high school into their four-year university, they may not have as clear of a path, but transfer students usually have a pretty good path when they transfer. And just keep in mind, it's a two-way conversation. You're not just walking up to them and they're just feeding you information. You should be prepared to ask questions. And so some things that a transfer fair is and a transfer fair is not. So it's a place to ask real questions that you have a chance to compare schools and a way to meet actual decision makers. So whenever you're going to ask them questions, which I'll kind of talk about the questions here in a minute, then you're actually meeting people who might be making decisions about, who they accept to their college and what they're looking for and what degree plans they have. And so it's important to keep that in mind whenever you're talking to them, that they actually are the decision makers for that school. But it is not, as Mr. Ricky pointed out earlier, it's not a commitment. You're not committing to it. You're just checking it out. You're not there to take a test. They're not testing you in any kind of way. And it's not a one-time opportunity. This isn't the only time that you can meet with that school. It's just a nice little jumping off point to kind of get an introduction to different schools. And so some things to think about before you even walk in. So you should definitely know your major or whatever you're interested in, because different schools offer different programs. And so you don't want to, you want to have it kind of narrowed down, because if you walk up to a table and you say, I'm interested in this, and they say, oh, I'm so sorry, we don't have that program. Well, you can probably move on from that college. And so it helps you to kind of figure out where to focus your energy. You should bring like a notebook or a notes app, like on your phone, where you can jot down some notes. And you should have in mind some schools that you want to talk to for sure. So like 3 to 5 schools. Some people know exactly where they're going and they just want to, go visit that school just to kind of get some more clarity about it and stuff. Like whenever I was going to transfer, I knew where I was going. There was no question. It was just convenient. It made sense for my life. So I knew where I was going. But some people aren't really sure. And so having like 3 to 5 helps you at least have it narrowed down a little bit. And there may be a school that isn't in your 3 to 5, but maybe the person looks real nice and you think, well, let me go talk to them and see what they're about. And that's fine too. So you should have like a little introduction for yourself. William, this may not necessarily be something that you need because, like you said, you don't really feel like, whenever you walk into an event, you don't really get confused about what to ask or anything like that. So you probably know what you want to say, but I kind of just put this in here just in case anybody wasn't sure, what to say. And so it's just a little introduction. My name is this, I'm a student here, I'm studying whatever you're studying. I plan to transfer in whatever, year, semester, and then I'm interested in learning more about your whatever program you're interested in. So that's just a little spiel, like for people who have no clue what to say when they go in. And so these are some questions to think about. And I think I put these, I gave you like a little questionnaire. That's actually for you to take to the transfer fair if you need it. Not that you have to, but it has these questions, and I left room so that you can write on it. So you can kind of carry it around at the fair, at the transfer fair, and kind of answer those questions so you can look back at it. But anyway, so how do my credits transfer for my major? So they can answer this question, but also if you have this question, you could come to me and we could look at it as well, because there's something called the ACTS system, and it allows us to look and see what credits transfer. So you can ask them, or you can come see me, and I'll be happy to help you figure that out. This is a great question. What GPA do you look for in transfer students? So they're not only going to tell you like, well, you need this to get in. Most schools, it's like a 2.0. Most schools around here to just get into the college, it's like a 2.0. But they also might offer you some guidance with scholarships. Like, well, you need a 2.0 to get in, but to get a scholarship, you need this GPA and so on. The question of when you should apply for admission and scholarships. Who's my point of contact after today? And so you'll want to grab like a business card from them so that you have an idea of how to contact them if you have more questions. This is more specific to trying to get more in-depth answers, specifically if you know what school you want to go to. And so if you're asking a school, like what makes their program different, they may have a specialized program that only they offer. And so they'll talk to you about that. And I think I'm going to kind of skip over the rest of that for now. Oh, this one is important though. Like the last question there, what support services are available for transfer students? So, asking, do you have a TRIO program on your campus or some other kind of supportive services? Whenever you go talk to them could be good. And then of course you want to ask questions about scholarships that they offer, because you are wondering how you're going to pay for this. When you transfer, the four-year schools are going to be more expensive than here. So your one of your number one, questions is probably going to be, what kind of scholarships can I get? And you can ask them if there are any specific scholarships for first gen or TRIO program participants. That might be good to ask as well. All right, this is kind of giving you a little guide about when you ask questions, then what are you looking for? Okay, so green flags, things that you are hoping that the school will say, is if they give you clear answers, specific transfer info, and then follow-up contact offered. So those are all good things. If you're asking a bunch of questions and they say, it depends, I'm not sure, something like that, then it's you don't want to walk away from that school, but maybe that representative is not the best to talk to. So you may want to see if you can reach out to somebody else at that school. Do you have any questions right now, William? Mr. Ricky, Tiffany, y'all have any questions?
No.
That's great presentation.
Okay, so what to do after the transfer fair? So you went to the transfer fair now, you've gathered information from these different schools. You want to look over your notes the same day. Don't wait, because sometimes what you wrote down that day isn't going to make sense to you even tomorrow. So glance over your notes. If something doesn't if you feel like you didn't write enough information for it to make sense, maybe add on to it so you can look back at your notes. It would be good if you could have a ranking system, like, well, this would be my top choice and this would be my next and so on. If you are interested in specific schools, then you might want to use that business card that they gave you and reach out to them in some way through email, etc. Even following them on social media sometimes could be a good thing. But when I say social media, I'm being specific to LinkedIn. Do you have a LinkedIn, William?
Yep.
Okay, so LinkedIn is more of a professional way to kind of like follow people. So if you're interested in a specific college, it could be a good way to connect with a representative through like LinkedIn. You wouldn't want to find them on like Instagram or Facebook or something like that, but LinkedIn's more of a professional kind of social media. And then if you want to go visit the campus, we offer campus tours, so I would be happy to take you if there's a school that comes, whether I have a transfer trip scheduled for there or not, come see me and we'll talk about taking a transfer trip to go actually see that campus and meet with them down there. And then also if you want to bring your notes, then we can help you to look over that and kind of figure out your next steps. Okay, and then finally in closing, so you belong in these spaces. Whenever you get ready to transfer, it's important to keep in mind that you're going to be valuable to them on that 4-year campus, whether you're on campus or you're an online student or whatever, you're valuable as a student. And so it's important to keep that in mind. Asking questions shows maturity and preparation. So you're showing them that you really are trying to be successful when you transfer. And that's it. Do you have any questions, William?
I have a question.
Yes.
Go back to the second, I mean, I want you to know I paid attention to your presentation. That's my motivation. Go back to the, I don't know, go to the first slide. Go second slide. Third slide. I don't know, just say. The fourth slide. The fifth slide. Okay, hold on for just a second. The next slide.
Hey, William, I need you to fill out my evaluation. It was one of the papers.
Go back, go to the one after this one. Keep going. Hold on. So. One more. My question is this, and if you don't have the answer, it's fine. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, so can you give us some examples of hidden cost in programs?
Yeah, so a great example, thank you for that question. A great example is there at Henderson, where my son goes, for example. He has an online course fee. So he's taking some online courses, not really that it's by choice, but more that's you know, the only offering they have. So he's taking some online courses. There's an online course fee. So if you take any online courses, you have to pay that fee. His program is specific to the business college. There's a specific fee for the business college. And so those might be some hidden costs that you might not even think about. A lot of times it'll be some sort of fee. The tuition and tuition, housing, things like that, it's pretty straightforward. You can find the cost of that. And they'll be very upfront about that. But what they might not mention, not that they're trying to be sneaky or anything like that, but what they might not mention off the bat is just those fees. And those fees can add up. I think that my son's like online course fee is around $500. So some of those fees can really add up.
Is that per course? I mean, is it, that's various courses,
I
right?
think it's them together. Like if you take any online course, then it,
Wow.
then you have that $500 fee.
So where are you gonna go, William? What school?
There was a couple. I know one of them was the tech college. They offer up the culinary course.
Where's that?
I think my partner said tech.
Russellville, okay.
Thank
What's the others?